Welcome to another exciting episode on Ben's Page Turners. With me here today we have
Professor Mafia Sebuka.
You're welcome, Professor. And on my left we have
Joyce Daniel.
You're welcome, Joyce.
Thank you.
And on the last episode we saw an introduction of the book True and Lasting Wealth, written by Dr. Ben Aliko. On today's episode we will be flipping through the pages as we consider some few chapters in the episode. So let's look at the first chapter, which is love. Now, sir, I believe you've read through this book and then you're greatly blessed when you read it. Now, on this paragraph, it is written, God is love. Showing love, having a heart filled with love, is having God in you, and the presence of God in you is great wealth. How do we relate this with our everyday living?
Firstly, I want to commend Dr. Ben Aliko. I've known him for the past 23 years now, when we began to work with the Christian Fellowship, Christian Police Fellowship of Nigeria.
That's quite a lot.
And I know him to be a very humble, committed servant of God. And I have read a number of his books, which are highly inspirational. And then to see this one is another addition to his table. It's a very great contribution to the body of Christ and to the country, Nigeria, and to the world at large. I don't care for him. Now to your question about the book, True and Lasting Wealth. It's very, very rich. The very first chapter is talking about love. And whenever you mention love, you talk about God.
That's right.
Because God is the embodiment of love. If you can hold God, if you can hold Him and dissect Him, everything you find in Him is love. So, anybody who professes love without God, that love has K-leg and hunchback. Now, in this book, he's talking about love and wealth. That love is wealth. And then the challenge we have in our generation is that most people equate wealth with mammon, physical cash.
It's a great challenge.
But wealth is more than what people call money. And when you talk about God, you may not see Him physically, but His presence anywhere makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a man like Moses, who was born when it was dangerous to be born a male child in Egypt, being a Hebrew, who survived the sword that was hanging on his neck in the maternity room, went through all kinds of situations. The mother had to build an ark, took him by the riverside. I wonder what Miriam would have been able to do if the taskmasters had come. God just designed that he was salvaged and raised in the palace of the king. The Pharaoh of Egypt, who was a god of Egypt and god of the world then, because we read in history that civilization began in Egypt.
Yeah.
So, but that wasn't enough. That this man, when he presented his CV the first time for leadership, the CV was dripping with blood. Then, because of his life, when it was found out what he did, he didn't run to a place that had boundary with Egypt, a country that had bilateral relations with Egypt. He ran into the desert, wilderness, barren land of no pasture, where he was raised for those number of years, until God Himself qualified him to be the leader. When he came up, having tested both sides of the coin, the flip side of the sun, he has seen it. Whenever the man raised his voice to pray, he could ask God for this or that. He never asked for anything. He would pray for the presence of God. Say, if your presence wouldn't go with us, it's better we don't step out of this place. God said, my presence will go with you. That is wealth.
Wow.
Wherever God is, you have answers to all your questions,
Wow.
solution to all your challenges. You can have all the money in the central bank. You may not be able to sleep with both eyes closed.
That's right.
So the presence of God, the love of God, that same love that made God to give us Jesus, who reconciled us to God, that what the first Adam did, that pulled us out of the presence of God, the second Adam came, is all about love. So he had insight to this, and I'm really, really thrilled to read what he has written concerning God, love, and wealth.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, that was an amazing one, Prof.
Thank
Thank you so much for that insight. He said the presence of God is wealth, is true wealth. Thank you, sir. And over to you, Joyce. Now, when you go to the general advice, Dr. Ben wrote, we may choose who we like and love. We can't choose who stays. Purpose and interest determines who stays with us. Can you relate with this?
Yeah, it's true. Purpose and it determines who stays in your life. I remember my story when I started ministry.
Okay.
When I read it and it said purpose and life, you may choose who you love, but you cannot determine who will stay.
That's
Your
right.
purpose will separate you from those that will stay and those that will leave. So when I discovered my purpose, it separated me from some kind of friends. Some left because they discovered that my ways and their ways were not aligned. So they have to go for me to fulfill my purpose. So you see, you can choose who to stay and who you love, but you cannot choose who to stay, because your purpose and your interest on what you are doing and what God has bestowed in you as his child determines who stays with you. Let's say, for instance, I choose God and I choose the way of God, and there are others that live a worldly life. We can't be in line because their ways and my ways are different.
Wow.
And I remember back then when my friends, some they used to call me church rats, and some will give me a name because I choose to follow God. So you see, my purpose and my interests separated me from them. And I felt somehow and I was sad. But then the Spirit of God spoke to me and told me that this is the reason why they are living. They have to go for something good to happen to you. So you see, purpose and interest separate you from. So talking about true and lasting wealth, written by Dr. Benedict, it has helped me a lot. He's a great man of God, and I always admire his character. And even through his message, he says some friends have to go for good things to happen to you. I don't listen to his message, and it's encouraging. So he's a great man of God, and I'm grateful. Though I've gone through the book, each time I read this book, it imparts so much knowledge in me, and it has helped me in so many ways to understand my purpose.
That's an amazing one, Joyce. That's an amazing one. So this is a reason why you should get this book, and not just get it, we read it. It says we may choose who we like and love, or we cannot choose who stays. Sometimes we are commanded to love everyone, and then because we think we love this person, the person should stay. From this counsel, it has given me peace. Whoever stays is as a result of my purpose. So if they choose to stay or they choose not to stay, they can go. So I should love, but I cannot compel them to stay. And then he went for that to state that we should then love and concentrate on those that stay. That's an advice to all of us. All right, let's go further to the next chapter, which is another inciting one, which is chapter 2. And it says good name. I love this chapter. I believe we're the next one when we read this.
Yeah,
I love it. Good name. So over to you, Prof.
Yeah.
When we talk of good name,
Yeah.
what comes to your mind? What's your perception about good name as it relates to wealth?
Well, if you talk about good name, you mean reputation.
Okay.
You see, people are known by the work they do. Carpenter, mason, or whatever. So it is with name. When people tarnish their image for whatever reason, in most cases it is so easy to repair.
That's right.
when things have gone wrong. And that is why it is good that we guard it very jealously.
Mm.
Good name is better than rubies, according to scriptures.
That's right.
Good names can open doors for people.
Mm.
There have been a lot of examples of people whose parents may have died poor.
Mm.
If something happens along the line, any of his offspring gets to a place unbeknownst to him or her, and doors are open to him when the name is mentioned.
Mm.
So that's why our people say any animal that has a tail, when it's running, it's always looking behind. So good name should be it. If there's anything I should desire, is to have a good name, not a fat bank account. People get it right when they make and maintain a good name. They get it wrong when they don't care about the name. So that is why this book written by Dr. Ben Aliko, True and Lasting Wealth, not just wealth. If you talk about true and lasting wealth, that means there are some wealth that are not true wealth. There are wealth that may not last,
That's right.
which comes for a few minutes and is gone. So it is better for people to fight and work assiduously to achieve true and lasting wealth, as written down by Ben Aliko, the author of this great book.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you for that insight.
I have
So it's-
something to say.
Okay.
Sorry. In this book, he wrote that a good name cannot be bought by money. Yes,
Wow.
cannot be bought by money. Having a good name, it helps you to earn the trust of God and even men. When you have a good name, anywhere you go in this life, even when you are no more, people always talk about you. When they call your name, what comes to their mind is this person has been good to me. This person is a generous person to me, and it's a honor, and it brings honor and glory to the bearers. There is you bearing that good name. It brings honor to you before God and before man.
Wow.
So, and he said in book of Proverbs, he said a good name is better than what? Riches. Yeah, choosing a good name, and for you to have a good name, you must dwell in God. Yeah, or your lifestyle, everything about you should be about God. Yes. So, you having a good name, God Himself must be first in your life. The Bible says that seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and every other thing that is for you to have a true and a lasting wealth. You must depend totally on God and seek Him first. Don't do things on your own. Lean on God, and God will see you through. So this book is a great book by Dr. Benedict, who is encouraging. So I advise all the youth out there to read this book, get this book and read it. It helps, and it will help you to discover your purpose and know your place in God.
Wow.
And you do that by building trust.
Okay.
To earn trust, you have to put effort to earn people's trust.
Mm-hmm.
You have to also treat people well.
That's
These are
how
some of
we
things-
build a good name.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how we build a good. I was going to ask that question. You started mentioning about seeking God first, seeking His kingdom first. So I was going to ask now, how do we build this good name? Because it says here that a good name is an inexhaustible wealth. So if I want to have this wealth that is inexhaustible, just as Professor just said, there's a kind of wealth that diminishes, that finishes, but this good name doesn't finish. So I want to build it. Let's let our viewers know, how do we build this good name?
Well, it is written here. He said that good names are built firstly in God. Everyone you see with good names are individuals that they practice and obey. That is, you must practice and obey the principles of God.
Okay.
God has a principle, so you obey. And out of it, he mentioned it that they are honest. You must be honest, trustworthy. Can God trust you with what He has placed in your hand to do for Him? Can He trust you? And can men trust you with what you're doing? And you must be what? Just, holy, and compassionate towards your brother, towards your neighbor, not covetous. You must be content and what fears the Lord.
Wow.
He who fears the Lord. We can have great wealth that lasts. The world may give you wealth, but it will not last. But the one God gives you will last forever. So for you to have a true and a lasting wealth, you must have all this principle God has given. That is honesty, compassionate, and contentment, and fears the Lord.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Joyce.
I just want to add something there.
All right.
That's building integrity in times of difficulty. So there are times when it is easy to build integrity, but there are occasions, in situations, where integrity becomes very expensive. So if somebody is able to build integrity in that time, then a good name is not only gotten, that good name is written in marble.
Thank you, sir. So from the discussion so far, you would see that good name is actually built. You are not born with a good name, you build it. And then we saw that it is from the book. We get good name by practicing principles. We saw that you have to be honest, trustworthy. When you relate to somebody and then the person is honest, the person has built a good name.
Yeah.
If the person is trustworthy, the person is building a good name. So this is how we build good name. So let's dive quickly to the last chapter for the day. Wisdom. Wisdom is wealth. So from your experience as a professor and also a father and an elderly person, how do we relate wisdom now to wealth?
Wisdom is profitable to direct in every aspect of life. And that's what the author, Dr. Ben Aliko, has surveyed and has put down in this book.
Okay.
That it is necessary for people to work for wisdom. Apply wisdom in everything you do, in your thoughts and utterances. It will help you to make right decisions. It will make you to know who to relate with. It will guide you to be able to know, even in your area of specialization, what you need to do per time. So wisdom is profitable to direct. That's just the summary of it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just as was written here by Dr. Ben, he said wisdom will help you to know the consequences of your decisions and the actions before taking them. So I believe knowing the consequences of your decision, that's a form of wealth. Before you make any decision or take any decision, as seen in this book, if you know the consequences of those decisions, then you would know what to do and what not to do. So, Joyce, what's your greatest take when it comes to wisdom as seen in the book, True and Lasting Wealth?
Right. Wisdom help you to have a lasting wealth.
Okay.
Why? Solomon could have asked for money. He would have asked for money, but God asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" He said, "I need wisdom." Wisdom will give him things that will last. We give him great wealth, and that is lasting wealth. Seeking wisdom is good, and wisdom help you to be productive. It helps you to be productive, and it gives you understanding on how to do things, how to live a life. You say there is a place I read in the book where Dr. Benedict wrote. He said that wisdom personalities moves with their blessings. You can move with your blessing and wealth anywhere they go. So wisdom is in you. Wisdom is a person. So they don't depend on material possession because they are the creator of the materials.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. You may see something now, you say, "I need this thing. How can I get it?" You use wisdom. You see people that have wisdom, they hardly have problem with people. You say they live at peace with people. And with wisdom, we will live happily. And so he wrote it here and said they create wealth anywhere you keep them. You keep them inside hope. They will still prosper there because the wisdom is in there and is a person.
Okay.
So
it has been an awesome and amazing moment in today's edition. There's what Dr. Ben always say, and then he says, as a person that will ever he is being kept. He has the ability to replicate
Yeah.
what he is doing.
Yeah.
I believe it's as a result of
Wisdom.
wisdom.
Yeah. Yes.
So it is embedded in him.
Yeah.
So regardless of where we take him, I think the last meeting he said, even if he's been taken to a desert,
Correct.
what he's doing presently, he can still replicate it.
If you
That
see
is
all
wisdom.
the inventions and innovative initiatives, the people who are bringing up things, improving on things that are already in existence, is the application of the knowledge that they have, the wisdom that they have, is making them solution providers. You cannot be a solution provider without wisdom.
That's right.
Most of the countries that you see that are progressing, there are people who take out time to sit back, look at things most dispassionately, and think out ways and means of bringing about changes. That's what we call the inventors, innovators, and the rest of them. These are the people that are making the world to advance the way we're advancing technologically and in every sphere of endeavor. So Dr. Ben Adeku did a thorough work in this book.
Oh, thank you, Professor. Thank you so much. It's a great privilege having you here on Ben's Antonas. Thank you for making it out time to be. Joyce, thank you so much. It was an exciting moment with you. Viewers, I believe you must have gotten one or two things from today's edition of Ben's Page Turners. If you are yet to get this book, I want to urge you to get yours, because every page in this book is actually filled and loaded with wisdom. So until we come your way again next time, I remain Linus Godwin. Thank you.